Hello, work life warriors. I hope you're doing well. Today, I wanted to come past and do a book review. Today's book is Teaming. I read a lot of business books, especially since I am a consultant. So, I do read a lot of business books. Most of the time, I do not come and share the business books that I'm reading because I feel like it will be boring. I try to only share what I feel will be relevant and practical to everyday life and living and learning stress management and growing and a growth mindset. So, business, I don't really share, but this one I feel was very important because um, I think we don't really acknowledge how important teams are. So I'm only about halfway through the book, but so I'm not sure if I'll do another video, but we don't really acknowledge how important teams are, or we don't think about teams in the way that we should. When we think about teams, we think about football teams, and it's kind of what she talks about in the book. Like, we think about football teams or basketball teams or team in a formal sense, but really a team is two or more people that come together for a purpose. So a family is a team, a marriage is a team, friendships are teams. It's just we deal with so many different teams in our lives that we don't really think about it in that way. It's like the relationships that we have with people in our lives, especially when it's two or more. It is more than just about. It's more than just about why we got there. It's also about. Okay. So my biggest problem with the whole with dealing with teams is we give a whole bunch of strategies about how people can get along with other people, right? Kind of like the personality ethic. But we don't talk about it in the sense of the character ethic or a living human breathing person with limitations and emotions and fears and perceptions and negative biological programming. We don't think about that part of it. So we talk about people almost, it feels like, in second person, and so we don't realize, like, as a full human being, as one human being, you are a universe. And when you are um, sharing or combining or socializing, you are talking to a whole nother universe, with its different perceptions, emotions, actions, beliefs, all of these things, values, and we forget that. And we kind of just function on a level of like what a person, what people do and not who they are, right? So we talk about teams and like what we're doing and not who we are, in the sense of like, okay, this is the strengths or uniqueness or authenticity or rawness or whatever it is that I bring to it. It's more so like, this is what we need to do. Let's do it. And it doesn't matter like what your strengths or weaknesses are. Let's do it. And so it just kind of, that to me is what creates the hierarchy in the workplace or in teams, is because without exploring the individuals, the actual human beings, their talents, their abilities, their skills, the person who is more capable to just do, takes control or takes charge of the teams, regardless of what type of team it is. It's even in a relationship. It's like, oh, I'm more efficient. And so that's what makes me the leader. In organizations, it's like, oh, I know how to do a particular thing. And then I also know how to use, whatever technique to get other people to do whatever it is I need to do. So I'll be the leader of this team. And at the end of the day, it's like in the moment, in the short term, it's beneficial. It gets the job done. But overall, in the long term, in my opinion, it creates, dissatisfaction, burnout, stress, um, turnover, because a person doesn't feel trusted, valued, or respected when you are not acknowledging them as a person in their contribution. So let's just think about it like this. We wake up in the morning and our phone sounds off, and we don't even think how many people, it took to get the cell phone to where it is today. How many people? Like when you pick up your cell phone, how many people worked on, creating your cell phone? How many teams of people from every part, which came from different places, maybe assembled in different places, shipped to different places. How many people, how many teams of people were involved in just your cell phone? When you think about a simple meal, like let's think about breakfast. A lot of people like to have a heavy breakfast. I like to, eat, just fruit in the morning. So think about the eggs and the sausage and all of the things that you eat for breakfast. How many people, how many teams were involved in getting your eggs, your bacon, your sausage, or your toast or grits or fruit or yogurt or whatever it is that you eat in the morning? How many people were involved? How many teams of people were involved in that process, right? And the fact that we never consider that, right? We never consider how many people it took to make our shirt, to, produce all of the things in our lives, our sheets, our electricity, our just all of these things, gas, cars, all of the things that we consume daily. We don't think about the people and their lifestyles and how, stress impacts them or what they have to do. We just kind of you know, disregard, or just out of sight, out of mind. We don't really consider them, right? And so teaming is so important, especially in the workplace, because the world that we live in comes from the teams created, designing and executing and producing all of, what we consume. And so we should think about the individual, because if it's not made with love, if it's not made in regard to the person, then what is it created for? Who is it created for? Right? Um, and so, yeah, when I just think about teams in general, many of us haven't been, taught what true teamwork is. We haven't seen true teamwork. We don't even think about teams. We don't think about the teams we're in. We don't think about what we're contributing to teams. We don't think about what we're contributing to the world. And so teams is a very, very important topic that we should, talk more about and do more work in, especially when it comes to communication, how we're showing up, how we're growing and developing, how we're practicing self-development and personal mastery so that we can bring our best selves to the teams that we're in, our families, our jobs, our friendship structures, our communities, and how, think about in general, what type of teammate are we? What type of team player are we? Think about in your family, we complain a lot about maybe our bosses, supervisors, whatever you call them, managers, leaders. You complain a lot about their controlling, domineering ways, but then you go home and may do that to your family or do that to friends and other people that you team with. So really sit down and think about, how are you as a teammate? Do you have character flaws that stand in the way of you being a great teammate, of you supporting other people, of you showing up and treating people the way you want to be treated? Because we're always talking about being mistreated, but we don't recognize if we're exhibiting those same behaviors in our own life. So, again, teams are so important, in this concept of like teams and how we operate in teams is something that we should talk about and research and explore and go out of our way to develop ourselves in, because every aspect of our lives we operate in a team. No man is an island. um, Even if you live alone and you work at home, you still operate in a team, because again, it took a team for you to work at home, and it takes a team to get all of the things that you need to be able to live alone. So teams are so important, and I'll keep reading, and maybe I'll do another video or not, but share with me, what do you think about teams, and what type of team player are you? I work on myself all the time. I am not perfect. I make mistakes all the time, but I believe that I am a strong team player, that it should be, I should be a top pick, first pick on everyone's team. If you know me, like if you know me and you have the privilege to, have access to me, and you have to pick a team, if it's, depending on the team. But I am a strong player in teams, regardless of the type of team. I know my strengths, and I'll, play to my strengths. And if I know my weakness, so I know how to put my ego aside and let somebody else lead and be great support and encourage them, and show up in any way that I can to get it done. So again, I can improve, and I always will improve, and I will continue to read and improve on these things, these life skills that make me, the person that I enjoy, the person that I love, the person that, I'm excited to wake up and be with in the morning. And so, yes, reading is so important. It is a stress management technique. It's so important to your health and well-being. It's so important to your brain functioning, your body functioning. Your brain is a muscle. You don't want it to get old, so you want to read. Try to read something every single day. Try to read at least 1 hour a day. At the bare minimum, try to read a book a month, even though I do think you should read a book. You should read an hour a day, a book a week, but at least one book a month to keep your brain fresh, to increase your mood, to improve your vocabulary, to help with clarity and mental focus. Um, it has so many health and wellness benefits, and I tried health and well-being benefits that I try to make sure that I'm reading every single day. I notice the difference of when I'm not reading. And so again, stress management is something that we need to practice, because this world is stressing us out, and the stress can kill us. So if we're not going out our way to manage our stress, then, we will most likely get a disease or illness, because 90% of all doctor visits are stress related. And one of the key ways to manage stress is reading. So I hope this helps. Please tell me if it does. Share with me your thoughts and comments. I hope this helps, work life warriors. Have a great day.